You probably know Margot Robbie as Barbie, the smiling, glowing, pastel-powered icon of 2023 who somehow made a doll feel human. Or maybe you know her as Harley Quinn, chaotic, candy-colored, heartbreakingly unpredictable. Or maybe you remember her breakout performance in The Wolf of Wall Street, where she stole every scene from Leonardo DiCaprio and made it clear to the world that she wasn't just another pretty face. But before all that, before the Oscar buzz, the global fame, the fashion magazine covers, and the billion-dollar box office hits, Margot Robbie played a role that almost no one talks about today. A role that was the complete opposite of Barbie or Harley. One that was cold, calculating, twisted, and disturbingly seductive. The film is called Terminal, and it's one of the most overlooked, most misunderstood pieces in Margot Robbie's entire career. Released in 2018 with almost no fanfare, Terminal quietly appeared and disappeared, slipping through the cracks of streaming platforms and international box offices. Critics dismissed it. Most audiences never even heard of it. And yet, buried beneath its neon-drenched visuals and surreal plot lies something fascinating. A performance that shows us a version of Margot Robbie that's rarely seen and almost never talked about. In Terminal, Margot plays Annie. At first glance, she's just a waitress working the night shift in a nearly abandoned train station diner, her face lit by flickering neon signs and cigarette smoke. But very quickly, you realize something isn't right. Annie isn't just serving coffee. She's manipulating two hitmen, she's seducing dangerous men, she's toying with lives. And she's doing it all with a flawless smile, a dangerous charm, and a look in her eyes that tells you she's always 3 moves ahead. This isn't the glamorous version of Margot that we're used to. There's no red carpet, no glitter, no warmth. Annie is cold, brilliant, broken, unpredictable. She switches accents mid-scene. She plays characters within the character, slipping into different personas to lure her victims in. One minute she's flirtatious and playful, the next she's whispering threats with a scalpel in her hand. It's part film noir, part psychological thriller, part fever dream. And yes, it's messy. The plot is intentionally confusing, the tone is uneven, and it's full of strange stylistic choices that left a lot of viewers wondering what they just watched. But Margot? Margot is terrifyingly good in it. And here's the twist most people don't realize. This wasn't just a role she accepted. Margot Robbie produced the film. She helped bring it to life through her production company, Lucky Chap Entertainment. This wasn't just a job, it was a choice. She chose this role. She chose this script. She wanted to play this kind of character. That tells us something important. Long before she was America's sweetheart in Barbie, Margot Robbie was actively chasing dark, strange, morally ambiguous roles. She didn't wait for someone to hand her a franchise. She built one. She wasn't looking to be comfortable. She was looking to be challenged. Terminal didn't make money. It didn't get nominated for anything. It's not on anyone's top 10 lists. But it proved something that became a defining pattern in her career. Margot isn't afraid to take risks, to get weird, to go to uncomfortable places, to play women who are complex, violent, vulnerable, and impossible to pin down. That's why she pulled off I, Tonya. That's why she could carry Babylon, a film that demanded chaos, heartbreak, and confidence all in one. That's why Barbie wasn't just a nostalgia-fueled comedy. It was a nuanced, emotional performance layered under a mountain of pop culture expectations. All of that range? That unpredictable, magnetic energy that makes Margot Robbie one of the most versatile actresses working today? You can trace it back to Terminal. If you think you know Margot Robbie, think again. Watch Terminal. Not because it's flawless, it isn't. Not because critics loved it, they didn't. But because it's revealing in a way most mainstream films never dare to be. It strips away the red carpets, the billion-dollar franchises, the polished Hollywood image we've been sold. And it shows you Margot Robbie before the world made up its mind about her. Before Barbie, before Harley, before we put her in a box labeled starlet or superstar. In Terminal, there's no safety net. There's no studio protecting the brand. No test audience to soften the edges. Just a woman in a trench coat, a blade hidden behind her back, and a look in her eyes that dares you to follow her into the dark. She's dangerous, she's manipulative, she's seductive, and she's absolutely in control of the chaos she's creating. This is Margot Robbie Unchained. No franchise to serve, no toys to sell, no Instagram-friendly aesthetics to maintain. Just raw, deliberate, intentional darkness. And here's what's wild. She chose this. She produced this. She wanted to play this character, this morally twisted, unpredictable, unhinged force of nature. So if you've ever found yourself wondering what separates good actors from great ones, this is where you start to see the difference. Because great actors don't just play the roles people expect. They chase the ones that scare them, the ones that stretch them, the ones that might fail. Terminal might not be perfect, but it matters. Because it reveals a side of Margot Robbie that most people still don't know exists. Not the glamour, not the icon, but the darkness, the complexity, the edge. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So if you really want to understand how Margot Robbie became Margot Robbie, if you want to trace the path that led from chaos to Barbie, from risk to icon status, you have to go back to where she wasn't selling a dream, but embodying a nightmare. This is the version of her that Hollywood doesn't advertise. But maybe it should. Now it's your turn. Have you seen Terminal? Did it catch you off guard the way it caught us? Or are you just now adding it to your watch list after this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. Who else has an underrated performance nobody's talking about? Let's build a list together, hidden gems only. Share this video with someone who thinks they've seen everything Margot Robbie can do. Let's show them they haven't even scratched the surface. And if you're into stories like this, performances that got lost in the noise, roles that rewrote careers, and movies that dared to go weird, dark, and bold, subscribe right now. Because on this channel, we don't just review films. We dig up the forgotten ones. We spotlight the risky ones. We celebrate the actors who don't play it safe. The movies you missed. The roles that changed everything. And the stories nobody's telling. Until now. This is more than content. It's a cinematic rebellion. And it starts with you. So join us. Comment, share, subscribe. And let's give these stories the spotlight they've always deserved.